As most of you are now probably aware, yesterday's hearing with Robert Mueller ended in complete failure for the Democratic Party. They were literally destroyed by Republican representatives standing up for the President of the United States and calling out their charade for what it is. One big fat scam to get the president out of office. In fact, I'm going to play to you one of the most important parts of that hearing, which shows Representative Ratcliffe literally destroying Robert Mueller and the Democratic narrative. Take a listen.
The report on the bottom of page 2 of volume 2 reads as follows. The evidence we obtained about the president's actions and intent presents difficult issues that prevent us from conclusively determining that no criminal conduct occurred. Accordingly, while this report does not conclude that the president committed a crime, it also does not exonerate him. Now, I read that correctly?
Yes.
All right. Now, your report, and today you said at all times the special counsel team operated under, was guided by, and followed Justice Department policies and principles. So which DOJ policy or principle sets forth a legal standard that an investigated person is not exonerated if their innocence from criminal conduct is not conclusively determined?
Can you repeat the last part of that question?
Yeah. Which DOJ policy or principle set forth a legal standard that an investigated person is not exonerated if their innocence from criminal conduct is not conclusively determined? Where does that language come from, Director? Where is the DOJ policy that says that? Let me make it easier.
Go ahead.
Can you give me an example other than Donald Trump where the Justice Department determined that an investigated person was not exonerated because their innocence was not conclusively determined?
I cannot, but this is a unique situation.
Okay, well, you can't. Time is short. I've got 5 minutes. Let's just leave it at you can't find it, because I'll tell you why. It doesn't exist. The special counsel's job, nowhere does it say that you were to conclusively determine Donald Trump's innocence or that the special counsel report should determine whether or not to exonerate him. It's not in any of the documents. It's not in your appointment order. It's not in the special counsel regulations. It's not in the OLC opinions. It's not in the Justice Manual, and it's not in the principles of federal prosecution. Nowhere do those words appear together, because respectfully, Director, it was not the special counsel's job to conclusively determine Donald Trump's innocence or to exonerate him, because the bedrock principle of our justice system is a presumption of innocence. It exists for everyone. Everyone is entitled to it, including sitting presidents. And because there is a presumption of innocence, prosecutors never, ever need to conclusively determine it. Now, Director, the special counsel applied this inverted burden of proof that I can't find, and you said doesn't exist anywhere in the department policies, and you used it to write a report. And the very first line of your report, says, and as you read this morning, it authorizes the special counsel to provide the Attorney General with a confidential report explaining the prosecution or declination decisions reached by the special counsel. That's the very first word of your report, right?
That's correct.
Here's the problem, Director. The special counsel didn't do that. On volume 1, you did. On volume 2, with respect to potential obstruction of justice, the special counsel made neither a prosecution decision or a declination decision. You made no decision. You told us this morning and in your report that you made no determination. So respectfully, Director, you didn't follow the special counsel regulations. It clearly says, write a confidential report about decisions reached. Nowhere in here does it say, write a report about decisions that weren't reached. You wrote 180 pages about decisions that weren't reached, about potential crimes that weren't charged or decided. And respectfully, by doing that, you managed to violate every principle and the most sacred of traditions about prosecutors not offering extra prosecutorial analysis about potential crimes that aren't charged. So Americans need to know this as they listen to the Democrats and socialists on the other side of the aisle, as they do dramatic readings from this report, that volume 2 of this report was not authorized under the law to be written. It was written to a legal standard that does not exist at the Justice Department. And it was written in violation of every DOJ principle about extra prosecutorial commentary. I agree with the chairman, this morning when he said Donald Trump is not above the law. He's not. But he damn sure shouldn't be below the law, which is where volume 2 of this report puts him.
Representative Ratcliffe is right. They took the President of the United States and literally sank him below the law, didn't even give him the common courtesy that they would have given to an average citizen. And how did they do that? Well, he made it very clear that they declared the president innocent of any crime, but then they refused to exonerate him, which, by the way, has never happened before. Never in the history of the entire deep state have they ever declared someone innocent and not exonerated him. But yet, they do the opposite with the president. They declare him innocent and then don't exonerate him. Yet that's never happened before. Can I ask you, Mr. Mueller and James Comey and all the other people involved, why would you do that? I know. It's because they are against the sitting president. You see, when you have 14 Democrats and one rhino Republican, Mueller, or Republican, whatever, you have 14 of them who are all Democrats against the president, forming an entire report against him. There's absolutely a motive there, not to mention the motive with Hillary Clinton, who, by the way, they exonerate of crimes and didn't even look into her information. But yet, here they are standing against the president, and you know what? It slapped them all dead in the face. After the hearing, Democrats suffer an utter failure. Take a look at some of these articles. The first one here, gatewaypundit.com. I can't watch anymore. Go home, guys. Bill Maher suffers meltdown during Mueller's testimony. ChicagoTribune.com. Column, Democrats suffer anxiety attacks over Robert Mueller's testimony and blame him rather than themselves. RealClearPolitics.com. Chris Wallace, Mueller hearing has been a disaster for Democrats' reputations of Robert Mueller. TheHill.com, White House, Mueller hearing, an epic embarrassment for the Democrats. They lost. This was a desperate attempt by the Democrats in the deep state to overthrow and attempt to impeach the president and get him out of office, and it failed. It's time to move on, but you know what? Some Democrats are still covering their butts, like Nancy Pelosi, who says, I'm still seeking information from the courts about President Trump, and we've got subpoenas. Take a listen to what she had to say after Mueller's hearing.
Even after these hearings, the president said he's completely exonerated, despite what Mr. Mueller said. So what have these hearings really changed?
Let me just say this. You give me the opportunity to say this, and then I invite my chairman to close. We want to have the strongest possible case to make a decision as to what path we will go down. And that is not endless in terms of time or endless in terms of the information that we want. But if it comes to a point where the cone of silence and the obstruction of justice and the cover-up in the White House prevents us from getting that information, that will not prevent us from going forward. In fact, it's even more grounds to go forward.
I get you, Nancy. You're covering your butt. It's dead. It is dead. Impeachment talk is dead, Nancy Pelosi. And she knows it. I believe she wholeheartedly knows it. She's just covering her butt. And that seems to be what all the Democrats are doing. But you know what? I'm very worried and concerned that they're going to move on. You see, because now some members of the deep state and members who work with the Clinton campaign, the Obama administration, have their butts on the line right now. And there's going to be and are investigations taking place, which means some of these people could be looking at serious jail time. Putting, again, 14 Democrats on a panel against a Republican president, and then putting Democrats on Hillary's investigation and letting her go. There's a lot of corruption going on. A lot of illegal practices. And Mueller yesterday perjured. That's what he did. He committed perjury. But here's the thing. I'm very fearful that since all their plans so far didn't play out, I'm fearful of this happening. No, I can't say this word anymore. But yes, I believe that that could be ignited by either the Democratic Party or the deep state itself, because they lost, and right now they are desperate, and desperate people do desperate things. And you see, maybe that could mean igniting the economy with some kind of economic crash. Maybe that's what they're going to do. Or maybe ignite some kind of disaster, or maybe a shooting, or maybe another JFK, so to speak, against the president. And I pray against all of that. I hope none of that is the case. Maybe it's a war with Iran, Russia, China, all of them. You see, right now, I believe that there are people within the deep state, not all of them, and the Democratic Party, who are going to stop at nothing to try to get Trump out. They've already done that with Russia, with the race baiting, with calling him and his supporters a white supremacist, and it's not going to stop. Maybe the thing here is some kind of civil war, which mainstream media has been pushing. I'm against violence. I'm against igniting some kind of civil war. It's not what I want, not what anybody wants. It's never a good thing. But it seems that that's what the mainstream media is pushing, and it's terrifying. Absolutely insane. But you see, President Trump is standing against it, and he's going at him. He's attacking. Now we have the case with Jeffrey Epstein. Now we have all the case with Russia going to the side. We have pedophile rings and all kinds of things, human trafficking being busted up. These are great things that are happening in our country, but yet the deep state and Democratic arm use every one of those, all of them, to try to twist it and turn it somehow on President Trump. That's what they've done with Epstein's case. Rather than looking at the 20 some odd times that Bill Clinton flew the Lolita Express over there with Epstein. No, that's pushed under the radar. But that's what they do. Anyhow, I'd love to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns. What do you think is headed in our direction? After this utter failure by the Democratic Party, what do you think's next? I'd love to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns. But with that, I want to encourage you guys, please make sure you're prepared with food storage. Right now, they've got up to 45% off at preparewithlisa.com. Amazing food supply. You can get a 2-week or a 4-week. And I highly encourage you, if you can do above and beyond that, please do above and beyond that. I, for one, am a huge supporter of having prepping supplies and food and water and filtration on hand, because in all honesty, we don't know what tomorrow holds with the all the stuff happening and the Democratic Party and the deep state on edge. You just never know. So please make sure you yourself are prepared at preparewithlisa.com. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning into my channel. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.